Welcome back to Open Line tonight. Steve Glover from Metro Council is my guest tonight. Thank you again for being here. We are talking about what is going on in the school board, also what to do with Dr. Shawn Joseph and his contract, which comes up for a vote to terminate tomorrow night at the school board meeting. Let's go back to the phones. Angela is on the line. Angela, thank you for chiming in. What's your comment or question?
Yes, my name is Minister Scales, and I want to ask, hey, Dr. Steve Glover, how are you?
I'm good, sir.
Good. I wanted to ask a question that I really need a straightforward answer. What is the exact real reason why they're trying to get rid of Dr. Shawn Joseph? You know, what's really going on? What was so terrible and so bad to where they really want to just get rid of him?
Okay, I think it's a fair question.
Okay, so you want a truthful answer. That's one thing I always do.
Yes,
I don't believe in candy coating or anything like that. So when David Fox and I were on the school board back several years ago, and we ended up letting Pedro Garcia go. One of the reasons we did is because he completely ignored the state. He was throwing us into a very precarious situation, and I think we're about back to the same place. You know, you can't blow off the state and say, I don't have to follow your rules, I don't have to do this, and I don't have to do that. I'm not saying that anything has been done incorrectly. I simply think we need to understand what it is, and I don't think that we make this about, you know, one adult. I think we have to make sure we make it about 86,000 students. And when I was there, it was about 77,000 students. So we've got roughly 10,000 more students today than we had when I was there. But I think that's the real issue. I think he has thumbed his nose at the state saying, I don't have to pay attention to you.
All right, Angela, thank you for calling in. We do appreciate hearing from you. I'm going to go to David next. David is on the line. David, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Hi, this is David Fox. Steve and I had a pleasure of serving together a few years ago on the school board.
Yes.
I kind of did want to fire a question at you, Steve. You know, a lot of people hold Dr. Joseph accountable for the problems in the school system, and certainly he's contributing to it. But I think we both see the board and its dysfunction as probably the ultimate source of the problems in the school system. You know, for a few years we were able to operate it in a way where board members came together, the fractiousness declined, and we worked together as a team. You know, and many people have served on boards, and you know that if a board is not unified, the CEO, the superintendent, cannot be successful. Why do you think in the recent years the school board has been so completely unsuccessful in coming together as a team and giving a single unified voice to the superintendent to do a good job? Thanks, and I'll wait for your answer. Thanks, Steve.
All right, thanks, David.
Thank you, David. So I'm going to answer you the same way as I answered the last.
Sorry.
We good?
Yeah, we're good. Go ahead.
So I'm going to answer you the same way I answered the last caller, very truthfully. One of the things that we've messed up on is we forget the board is the board. The director of schools is the director of schools. We have multiple problems right now inside of the school system. And, you know, we talk about money, we talk about this, we talk about, that's really not relevant. What we're lacking is actual leadership. And when I talk about actual leadership, I'm talking about director of schools and the board both. See, when you mess those things up, when neither one of those things are functioning properly, it's almost impossible to do. In fact, I'll say it is impossible to do the job to take care of our kids and educating our children. So I believe that the single biggest problem we have right now is a lack of understanding about what each role is, and then how to make that all fit within the parameters of what that role is.
And to my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the board is in charge of hiring and firing the school's director.
Correct.
Okay, so the director has to answer to the board.
Correct.
What are the director's powers then? What is he solely the boss over, or she?
Everyone else. I mean, the board hires one person, whether there's 3 people, 3,000 people, 30,000 people, you know, that fall in the school system. The director of schools is over every one of those folks. The board only has one job as far as personnel, and that's the director. And you know, we want to say, and I'm just going to go ahead and go here, you know, we're trying to make this a race issue. It's not a race issue. It is an issue of taking care of our kids. You know, I really can't believe how much I've heard people talk about the fact that we're being unfair to him. How do we say that? We have 86,000 students that we're not looking after, and we're not doing our job as the adults, as the parents, as the aunts, as the uncles, grandparents, whatever. We are failing our children. And, you know, if he made a mistake, you know, grow up. You know, admit it and say, okay, we move on. But we shouldn't be doing this race thing, because I would hope we are way beyond that.
Let me ask you this. The state can come in and take over the operation of the schools.
Possibly.
Can they come over and take over the operation of the board?
Well, possibly.
Is that part of it? If they're running the schools, is the board ignored?
Well, I think right now there's a lot of people trying to figure out where things are. And so I'm not an attorney, and I can't tell you we could do it this way or that. I will tell you, I think there's a lot of people working behind the scenes right now to figure out how do we make sure we stay focused on those 86,000 students.
Do you think there is unity behind the scenes of making sure a state takeover does not happen, or are there those who say this might be for the better?
Well, I think right now all the people I speak with are looking at how do we take care of the 86,000, because I mean, this is a very complicated issue. And you know, the only thing I'll agree with Mayor Briley on is this is our last chance. You know, how he wanted to throw down the gauntlet on that stuff, I don't know if he was right or wrong.
What are you saying, the last chance for what?
We need to make sure we get our act together. We have children every day graduating from MNPS that either can't read, can't, you know, do math, can't do the basics. That's a bad way to do business.
Let's get back to the lines, because we do have phone lines lighting up. We have Gigi on the, no, that's okay. We'd love to hear everyone talk. Gigi, go ahead with your question or comment.
Yes, hi. It's not so much as a question, but I'm just aghast that the mayor is even talking about intervening with the school board. Number one, I'm honored that I'm following David Fox, and I appreciate Steve Glover. The mayor has no business mixing in other than funding the school for what it needs for our 86,000 students. He doesn't need to give himself and his Metro people. I work for both Metro schools and then the state. The state has its protocols in place and its rules. State does not need to be taking over our school system, and we need to fight that. We need to get someone in there to get a cohesive understanding of what the board and what the director needs to do. Fund it and get these other people, stay back, give them the money that they need. We are a growing state. Dear God, we need to educate our children. Get this mayor out of here. He's Megan Barry's back pocket puppet. And that's all I have to say. I'm sorry.
No, that's
that got
okay.
my blood pressure up.
I can tell, Gigi. Hey, we appreciate it. That's why we like giving people a chance to sound off. And I think that this is a topic that does have a lot of people interested, because I think many people do come back to the children. We see, you know, we do highlight very positive things that are happening in our school through Vicki Yates' School Patrol, and it is amazing. These children are just, they're little sponges, and they soak up, and if given the opportunity, and there are great teachers who are just so willing to invest. If we can just get rid of all the other noise and focus, just like you keep saying, wow, look what we could do in Nashville, you know? The promise is there.
So I think anytime that we seem to think that I as an adult or you as an adult are the most important aspect of education, we've missed the boat. So I really pray that every day right now that we will get focused on taking care of our kids, understanding exactly what our job is. Let's quit threatening. I mean, threatening doesn't work well. I mean, if you threaten me, I'll fire right back at you. And I just think it's a bad way to run things. And so, you know, and I appreciate the caller there. I love David Fox. I mean, he and I are very, very good friends. And I always enjoyed while he and I were on the school board together because we looked at what was wrong and we brought a solution. Nobody's bringing solutions right now. To sit there and say, well, I'm going to do this to you, I'm going to do that to you, that's not a solution. That's a threat. So let's try to figure out what is the solution. How do we make it work? I think we have to build a new model in Nashville.
Like what?
Well, see, I'm not certain what that means because I'm not smart enough, but I've got a lot of people who are extremely smart, and we're all talking and we're looking at this aspect of it, the state, the local folks, everything else, and say, you know what, guys, it might be time to reinvent ourselves because I don't think we can keep doing what we're doing. We leave, you know, one of the things under President Bush, when No Child Left Behind, that law drove me crazy. Because if you missed one question, you failed overall. That's not the right way either. One of the things that drives me crazy is if we actually lose one child and we haven't given it everything we have, then we have completely failed the system. Now, don't get me wrong. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink. I get that piece of it. But I never, ever remember a child being born and the very first words out of their mouth when they learned how to talk was, I want to fail in life.
Right.
Simple as that.
Yeah. All right, we still do have a lot of folks on the line. Reverend Fuzz, Joe, and Cece, I know you're there. We're going to take a quick break and get right to you after that. Stay with us.